Hey family, Dad here. Hoping you're having a great day. It's before 7 o'clock here. I just finished taking my dog for a walk and, wanted to jump on and talk about something that's, coming up here. And I'm sure it's on a lot of kids and a lot of parents' minds. It's, the cost of college. Is it worth it? Let's dissect it. Let's look at the return on investment and see if it makes good sense for kids to attend college. Now, as I've said in previous videos, I have two adult kids that are going into college. I have currently my daughter, my oldest, is entering in her third and final year of college. She's majoring in a STEM degree. Very proud of that. And then I also have a son that's going to enter his first year of college here in the fall. And he's going into a private college. So a lot more costs, but we'll dissect that and we'll kind of break it down. Now, if you Google search the cost of college here in the United States, it's no secret. I mean, schools are getting more and more expensive as years go on. In a usnews.com article, and I'll put it in the comment section below this video, public schools out of pocket for 2022-2023 school year is roughly about $10,000. Private schools, different story. You're looking at almost $30,000, $40,000 for out-of-pocket expenses on there. Very interesting, very eye-opening as well as far as the cost of schools. In my mind, college is worth it. Just from my life experience, I think, having that degree was very powerful. But make sure, I think one of the things that we overlook as parents and as kids is the cost of college. That can really burden you well into your adult years. So please keep that in mind. And, you don't automatically make more once you get your college degree. Once kids receive their college degrees, they definitely have to focus on the hustle, But overall, if you're hustling and you're making the effort, you do make more as a college graduate than a high school graduate. In one article that I saw on the internet, Social Security, so SSA.gov, I'll put the link below, showed that, there is a substantial difference in lifetime earnings by educational attainment. For example, and they divided it by gender, men with bachelor's degrees earn approximately $900,000 more in median lifetime earnings than high school graduates. Same thing with women. Women earn approximately $630,000 more with a bachelor's degree versus a high school graduate. So a very interesting article. I'll post it in the link here, but keep that in mind as well. So yes, the cost of college has gotten out of control. Along with that is student loans. Student loans has gotten ridiculously out of control. I'm sure you've seen it through the news. The student loan forgiveness program that Biden tried to roll out got kind of shut down by Supreme Court. But if you do a deep dive as well, student loan statistics are really concerning. Forbes.com had an article out about the average student loan debt in the United States. And again, I'll post the link in the comment section. But on average, there's per borrower, there's $28,950 in student loans on average for every student that borrowed money during college. And roughly about 55% of students had student loans from a public four-year institution. Think about that. That's really, really eye-opening, really concerning. And 28,000 is not a small chunk of change. Some people who go to college, like I said, constantly overlook the costs, thinking that student loans will kind of help offset the costs during their college experience. One thing I think kids tend to overlook during that time is that they have to pay this money back. And trust me, as you get older, when you get into the real world, you are going to have more costs and more expenses to worry about in life, such as your salary, housing, food, car, etc. Family as well. It's gonna be a big burden. So the more loans you take out during college, the more headaches you're gonna have down the road. and it's not worth taking an excessive amount of student loans or credit card debt to cover school. One example I found on the internet was on businessinsider.com. There's this one article that titled, "A college graduate with $33,000 in student loan debt says she has no hope after the Supreme Court rejected Biden's forgiveness plan." So a word to the wise, to all you kids out there that looking for colleges, is, keep costs in mind. Student loans isn't going to be the happy solution. There's going to be long-term effects once you get out in the real world paying for your student loans. Now, we don't know this person's whole financial situation or how they prepared for the financial costs before, during, and after college. But we do know, again, it's going to be a burden. It's going to be a burden post-college. It's going to be a burden, well into their 30s and 40s and 50s. Now, my situation, I went to school, out-of-state school. I was an international student in Arizona. I was very fortunate. My parents paid my way for college. And, I know there's a few people that were like that within my network as well. But I also know that there's quite a few people around my network that are in their 40s and 50s. I'm 47, and there's people that are older than me that still have student loan debt that they're paying off today. And, the few people that I've talked to that have had student loans debts well into their 40s and 50s, they've said that, they do regret it and they would have made some different choices looking back, more specifically on financial burdens and costs. Now, I'll break down kind of the situation with my two kids. For my son's college education, I'll pay for majority of the costs. That's not going to be a secret. It is a private school that he's going to. He's getting an opportunity to play football, and that's something that he really wanted to do. There were a couple schools that were interested in him. All of them were private schools. So it was just like pick the lesser of the evils, I guess, when it comes to costs. But the school that he'll be going to, the total cost is about $70,000. He is getting some scholarships. He's getting roughly around $28,000 to $30,000 a year in scholarships. But the agreement is with him that he'll finish college in 3 years. He'll get his bachelor's degree in 3 years. That was the agreement. Now, 3 years may be a challenge, but keep in mind with my son, he took 2 years of college credits during high school. So during his junior and senior years of high school, his high school offered a Running Start program here in Washington State, which gives students a chance to earn some college credits during their last 2 years of high school. So having 2 years, almost 2 years of college credits, that'll offset some costs in college. And then as well, I have a 529 savings account, which is a college savings plan. And then I also have some liquid assets that I have kind of saved up over the long term. So that should cover his 3 years of college to get his bachelor's degree. And also my son will be getting a job during the off season. He'll be getting a part-time job to cover some of those expenses, out-of-pocket expenses that typical college students need, if they want to go out, if they want to go see the movies, things like that. So that'll be on him when he's in school. So my daughter, she got accepted to an in-state school, which was a little cheaper. She already had almost 2 years of college credits under her belt as she entered into school. One big challenge was with the university that she is attending, is that you have to apply for your major. So not only do you have to apply to get into the school, to the university, but you also have to apply for your major, which is something that she wasn't aware of. And some of these majors are very selective. So as she was navigating through, what she wanted to major in, she did find one major that was not as selective within her university, but still kind of aligned to her interests. And that was, a STEM major, computer sciences. She wanted to kind of go that route, and she was able to major in GIS, Geospatial Information Systems. And with that degree, she's able to graduate in 3 years. So very proud of that. Now for her costs, she is getting a good chunk of schooling paid for via financial aid and scholarships. My approximate out-of-pocket cost for her is roughly around $4,000 or $5,000 a year. And that covers, food, miscellaneous school-related items. So what can you do to minimize debt during and after college? I think the first thing is, you got to get the kid on board and have buy-in and have visibility on the costs. This is one thing that I really discussed with my kids during the whole college decision-making process. Is one of the top things. Obviously, think about the school and the program and the major that they want to declare, but cost is very important as well. Number two, apply for scholarships and financial aid. You can Google search it, ask a high school counselor, ask your admissions counselor. Plenty of opportunities. There's external links for scholarships. Google search it. There's tons of opportunities for external scholarships, even if it's $1,000. Majority of these scholarships require minimal effort that you're applying for. My son, there's a couple of them that he just had to do a one-page essay and he was able to get $1,000. Now, $1,000 may not seem a lot, but if you look at the ROI on this, all you have to do is submit a one-page essay to essentially get a $1,000 scholarship. I mean, there's not many jobs that offer that kind of return on investment, period. And another one that my son applied to and got was a $1,000 scholarship for 4 years. He got a $4,000 scholarship just for attending a webinar about the orientation of the university that he's attending. It was a 3-hour webinar for new students, and he after he attended the remote webinar, he automatically got a $4,000 scholarship. The third thing you could do during the college decision-making process, or even before that, is encourage your kids to take college credits in high school. Kids will enjoy the experience, trust me. They may say they want to enjoy their high school experience or their senior year. I gotta tell you, my kids both did Running Start. They took college credits in high school and they loved it. They loved the flexibility of not being stuck on campus for 7 hours a day. High school campus, you have to be on campus for 7 hours, as you take your classes. Colleges, as you're taking, community college credits, not so much. You have the flexibility. You go in, you take your classes, you leave. Some of them are online now and virtual. So, my kids really enjoyed the flexibility on that. They did take one high school class, I think, per semester at their high school. So they would just roll in, take their 1-hour class, and then roll back home, which they really enjoyed. And not only that, but, getting all those college credits out of the way during your first, your last 2 years of high school is really going to benefit you. It's really going to help reduce the amount of classes you have to take at college to get your degree. Option number 4 would be, go to community college for your first 2 years. And then transfer to a 4-year in-state school. It's a lot less expensive, and you could probably get the same type of degree that you plan on getting at your, fantasy university. There might be not as much excitement going the community college route and then through an in-state, 4-year school. But down the road, trust me, you're going to appreciate the fact that A, you got your degree, so you're going to make more. And then B, you're going to have a lot less student loan debt versus going to like a private school or to like an out-of-state school. Looking at the long term, if you're a kid today, the excitement might not be there going the community college route and an in-state 4-year school to get your business degree, but it's going to be a significantly cheaper versus going to an out-of-state school or private school to get your 4-year degree. The next item is, have the kid work and pay for some of the costs of our college. There's nothing wrong getting a part-time job while you're in school. It's not going to be a huge burden, and you'll develop some life skills, some work skills down the road as well. And, that's not going to cover a significant cost of colleges, during their time, but it's going to cover some of those out-of-pocket expenses, right? If they want to go out, hang out with their friends, if they want to go catch a movie, things like that, that's going to cover that kind of expenses where you don't have to as a parent. And another route is, instead of getting a college degree, is trade school. There's plenty of opportunities. There's nothing wrong with being like a plumber, electrician, or a dental hygienist. Those are great paying jobs out in the real world. A lot of need for those people as well, for that trade. So definitely keep that in mind. And it's going to be cheaper as well, right? Versus going to a 4-year out-of-state school or a 4-year private school. Now, for the people that are in their 40s and 50s and who have a bachelor's degree, and who still have student loan debt, it's a huge burden. Kids, ask them, have a conversation with them. And, it could be a relative, could be a close family friend, could be a teacher that you have a good relationship with. Talk to them about the student loan burden, the costs of it. Is it worth it? Is it worth going to a private school versus an in-state school? For your degree, find out, talk to people, talk to your network and discuss it and have that conversation. I can tell you probably majority of those adults that have a bachelor's degree and went to, a fancy school or went to a private school or an out-of-state school, may have student loan debt. Ask them, was it worth it? Would you consider looking back, going to a community college and local in-state school, getting your degree, saving a significant amount of money on tuition? Would it be worth it? Was it worth it? So friends, there's plenty of options out there to minimize costs and to be cost efficient in getting that degree. Like I said, I think the first thing is you got to minimize the loans. You got to keep cost in mind. Get a job during college. Have the kid get a good job in college. And again, part-time, 10 to 20 hours a week, it's not going to kill them. Definitely applied for financial aid. You never know if you're going to get some financial aid or not. And scholarships, internal and external scholarships, very important. Tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Would love to hear, different perspectives as well. Again, I'm not a professional. These are my perspectives and views. I'm not, I'm just a dad. Well, that's all I got. Stay safe, stay positive, and be happy. Love you, Dad.